really to just echo what Veronica said, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It was a huge and enormous group effort to actually get the tower. We're very grateful. I went to the chief architect of BT and I said, I'd like to host the IPv6 Council. I'm thinking we might have to go into One Bram, we'll book out the second floor, it's a great big space. He went, no, you want to do it in the tower. I was like, okay, we'll squeeze everyone in. So yes, it's a little bit snug, but this has been a wonderful experience. And honestly, I couldn't have done this without Veronica, and I couldn't have done this without the teams at BT who organize events here. There was me stressing massively, thinking I hadn't done enough, and I hadn't been, people weren't telling me to do things, and it's because they're just doing it all for you. It was really quite wonderful, so thank you to all of them. I'm going to do a quick run through of the past, present, and the future at BT. I don't think this will be too fantastic, but yes, welcome to BT Tower, and hopefully all of you have seen the info band this morning as well. So we've done IPv6 for a very, very long time, I feel. Not a lot of people know this, though. I think there was a heck of a lot of research that was going on about 1 billion years ago. Actually, notably, there's no laser pointer on this, but that AS number, I hope you can read it. In the remarks there, it says, used primarily for IPv6 development work. And that AS number isn't one that we actually advertise anything from at the moment. It sort of exists internally. But you can also notice that the created date was 1970, 0101, which obviously isn't the real created date. So it's pre-ripe, I think. It's a legacy AS number. And I recall some time ago, it would have been probably 2010, 2009 maybe, there was a talk somewhere that Adrian Kennard did about when Andrews and Arnold first started doing IPv6, and they very clearly said the only transit provider we could get IPv6 from was BT. So there's some real history here that we've been doing this kind of stuff. Fast forward a number of years, and of course, this was EE, we have acquired at some point. But Nick was there in 2017 talking about UK NOF, talking about getting 464 XLAT out on mobile devices. 2017 doesn't seem like it's that long ago, but it's 8 years ago. It's really starting to pay off, I think, as well. So, and indeed, this very stage, this wasn't this stage, this is BT Centre, yes. So this is our Chief Security Authority, Dave Harcourt, talking about security in V6. So that was from the last time BT hosted the IPv6 Council. I think it was in 2017 as well, wasn't it? Or 2018? Yeah. I think I got an award, I can't remember. But yeah, so this is we've got this long sordid history. Fast forward to now, what are we working on at the moment? What are we actually doing? I spend all my day kind of caroling and evangelizing various people into doing things. But I do actually do some work. The main takeaway, I think, for this, and this kind of highlight point, is that we're seeing a lot less demand internally for IPv4 addresses. We don't get people turning up saying, I need a whole another 100,000 IPv4 addresses. It's just not happening. I think that means our investment is working. I think that the trajectory of product development is IPv6 is important. It's there. We give this to customers. They rely on it. We are still working on getting IPv6 transport out for our DNS resolvers, including to the smart hubs. This is being worked on fastidiously at the moment. I'm aware that I was told I could say that one of the releases of hubs is done, so it's kind of ready to be rolled out. And there's another one I think we're waiting for some extra changes to be made. So V6 resolver transport coming really damn soon, which will give us that nice 10 out of 10 on IPv6test.com. We're, of course, spending a lot of time tracking as much of the standards work as we possibly can. So we invest heavily in standards development organization engagement. We have an entire directorate that looks at this and send lots and lots of people out to different places. interacting as much as we can, learning what we can about the changes coming on in the IETF and 3GPP, especially, is a very interesting one. There's a lot of discussions there at the moment about using SRv6 instead of GTPU. So if you know anything about mobile networks, that is still an ongoing debate. It's well worth getting involved in. The PlusNet trials are continuing. There is still internal staff work going on here, so we're not yet ready to sort of send it further out at the moment, but keep an eye on the forums for any interesting trial news that you might be able to potentially get involved in. One thing I'm very proud of is that I've finally managed to launch a new authoritative DNS service for BT. This will eventually take over bt.com and bt.net. Probably a lot of people don't realize we host a stunning number of domain names, some of which we do secondary backup for various other customers and some government stuff. And we've now actually got a service set up with IPv6 glue, which we've never had before. So that took a very concerted effort across a lot of teams, systems teams, a lot of folks in the internet and peering platform to make sure that we could get all this done. We're not finished yet. We're still rolling. We're doing a very soft migration at the moment. But that means we've also started making use of IPv6 reverse DNS zones, which we hadn't really done before. So another little checkbox, but actually this one for me means a heck of a lot. It means that we can start genuinely thinking about v6 only customers because they'll still be able to resolve a DNS name, connect to our website. So it's an important step. It's one that goes unnoticed a lot, but very happy about that. Global Fabric, I clicked on a bit too early. Global Fabric, which is our brand new BT International product. Made a big song and dance about this already, but one of my favorite parts about this is it does have IPv6 baked in from the start. So very, very happy to that. And again, a huge team effort to see that through. And there's a few more things I can't speak about, but rest assured, there are a growing and wonderful number of very committed individuals within BT who are dedicated to furthering IPv6 out there in our products and in our internal networks. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say as well. I should keep an eye on this, really. It works when you talk about it. It works standing up. It works coming to these events. That's soft evangelism. Even at a very, very large organization, the more you talk about IPv6, the more people will care about it and the more will get done. If you stop talking about it, it stops happening. And the biggest takeaway I've ever had here is that if I keep talking about it, it will keep getting turned on. So, bit of wisdom, maybe, bit of advice, but keep talking. Okay, a little bit more things for the future. From a customer's perspective, a lot of work is done. I mean, I mentioned DNS resolver transport. Obviously, that's a bit we need to infill there. But we've got, I think from the APNIC stats, it's 87% or something of v6 preferred, something like that. I mean, there's a lot of customers out there on mobile and fixed line and business and everything else. It's all behind AS2856 that are capable of using v6 when presented with the right quad A record and everything else. And preferring to use it. So what we're doing really now is trying to make sure that we figure out where the products, the lack of IPv6 is existing in products. Are those products that are going to continue, et cetera, et cetera. We're having to make sure that we place emphasis on encouraging equipment manufacturers and vendors to not, shall we say, deprioritize IPv6 in any way. So if we are talking to a vendor and they say, well, v6 works 99%, but if you use this one feature, it doesn't work. It's making a big point of saying, no, it absolutely must work. We require this now. And that's a step change, and that's a mentality change that you need to go through when you're talking to third parties. We have 464 XLAT on mobile, so v6 only there. But what about broadband? What about our fixed line customers? They've got dual stack, it's working fine. But should we be migrating to something where we treat IPv4 as a service? MAP is very interesting. And we have benefited hugely from listening to presentations from Rich Patterson at Sky, telling us all about what works and what doesn't. We've been listening, we've been having a play. So there is no commitment anywhere here. What this is this is what we're researching, this is what we're looking into, going beyond what we have currently today, not resting on our laurels at all. And our internal networks, I touched on this earlier, we have millions of them, absolutely tons of them. From everything from the company-issued laptops, cloud networks internally, many of those actually already provide IPv6 for tenants, but do they provide IPv6 for infrastructure? So infrastructural purposes are really interesting because overlapping networks are, overlapping RFC 1980 networks have become a bit of a pain. So there's a very good story and argument there to start doing this. I also feel like we should be dog fooding more. We should be looking at the fact that we're providing IPv6 to a lot of our customers, but we don't necessarily have a lot of it internally. So without that knowledge and understanding being widespread amongst the company, we should, I feel, be bolstering that. So that is an effort that is certainly ongoing. And again, there are tons of committed individuals across network security, the whole company, who are really, really invested in making that a thing. So I'm really happy with that. And again, our own office networks, I actually feel like we could use IPv6 mostly here. Again, not a commitment, but it's something that I feel like we should be striving for and aiming for. And the Windows cloud would be really helpful for that because not everyone's running a MacBook. Should we go further with v6 mostly? Should we look at the public BT and EE Wi-Fi products? Is that something that would actually suit us? Do we need IPv4, native IPv4 on those networks? Don't know, but this is a place that I think we're going to have to start looking and start trying to make an investment and a determination as to whether or not this is supportable. We have so much momentum. We've got a lot of people, very bright minds, thinking about what they can do in the future and thinking about what's possible, taking realistically all of the achievements of various other folks in and around the industry and trying to distill that down into great products for our customers and for our staff. So, as I said, nothing too incredible, nothing announced or anything as such, but I wanted to make sure that I keep talking about this and I keep everyone thinking about it, and that we're not lying down and we're not going slow, we're not resting on our laurels. We're going to keep going with this. So, thank you very much. Any questions? We've got a roving mic as well, so if you want to do the honors, David. Oh, no, just the folks will turn it up.
Just a quick question on...
Could you say who you are and where you're from?
I'm Nick from Virgin Media, O2. Just a quick question on your internal network and the OSS. What's the status on the v6 around the OSS apps?
So some of that is obviously the software supports it. We're not building software that doesn't. But internal hosting platforms, things like that. Some of it is obviously hosted on third-party public cloud. Again, IPv6 support there works on some of those, and sometimes it's missing. It's a very good point. We do have an ongoing set of goals that we are, and I can't really speak for the OSS in general, right? So there's a whole directorate that sits separately for this. But we have an ongoing set of goals, and one of them is uplift and improve. So that's a very good point, and almost certainly we're working on it. So
Lovely, thank you.
yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Just behind you there, Tim.
Hi there, Tim Chan, JISC. Again, thank you very much for hosting us. It's fantastic. I noticed just randomly a week or so ago how much the price of v4 address space has tanked, particularly for a /16. It's like $14 an IP rather than 40. Do you have requirements for more v4 address space for anything new you do, or do you just try and avoid that as much as possible? Do you feel any pressure for it? You're just happy to turn it off wherever you can? Do you have any comment on where that market and where that's going and your need for V4?
I'm not speculating on what is a very psychopathic supply and demand market.
I'm not asking for financial advice. I'm just curious.
Are you invested in IPv4?
Someone sat next to me that has 4/16s might be. But, I'm just curious as to what. Yeah, I would imagine that any large ISP is trying to reduce its dependency on it and turn it off wherever it can. One
of the first points I made was that we're not seeing any additional demand for IPv4 from any of the platforms. So they've got enough. And a lot of that is down to the fact that we have sparsely allocated in the past. I feel as if one of the most important things to notice here is that we don't have people saying only IPv4 is going to work in the future. We've proven that that's not necessarily the case. So there are instances of CGNAT in some projects. There are instances of, obviously there's NAT involved in 464XLAN. And a big chunk of the V4 that's come back into a free use pool has come from rolling out V6 only on the mobile network. We don't need any more IPv4. Definitely not.
Just to remind me what I was thanking you for hosting us. The other thing we should thank are Mythic Beasts. They provide the hosting for the URL that's on the top of the tower, IPv6 Org UK.
Has the server fallen over yet, Pete?
Hi, Pete. So I didn't.
I was worried.
Or not. But just to say, the point is that is hosted on a V6 only platform on Mythic Beast services that anyone can use. That's available to anyone, and they charge less, I think, because you're not using V4. And I think that's an interesting strategy. I think Amazon have started doing that now. If you don't use V4, it's less.
We're talking about BT, not Mythic Beasts.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to thank them for hosting the website, that's all, and the fact it's V6 only.
Yeah, no, the product that Mythic have is absolutely wonderful. I've loved it from the start, so it's great. Any more for any more?
Hi, thank you for hosting us. I'm from DHL. I would like to ask you, is BT able to provide services for enterprise customers with IPv6?
But per my understanding, I mean, I don't work in that space. Per my understanding, we've been able to provide, per my understanding, we've been able to provide IPv6 services to customers in the business and the enterprise scope for a very long time. It's more bespoke. It's not a residential play. You get it automatically. Go and ask.
Okay, thank you.
Go and ask, make it a demand. I think we're good. Oh, okay, cool. Veronica, did you want me to do the show of hands? Yes, can I just say?
I would just say in terms of enterprise, as you are saying, Tom, we know last year Cisco Meraki, you remember the presentation by Jeffrey? They also have enterprise connectivity from BT, and they got it enabled by the team, you know, so they were on dual stack for their connection from the offices here in London. So yes, go and push your account representatives of any other telco. It's not just about BT, right? It's the customers have to drive it. It's because the operators often wait for the demand.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I talk about our enterprise and our business offerings now, like I did mention as well, Global Fabric, which is for BT International, so anything that's outside of the UK. IPv6 and IPv4 parity has been an important part of that from day one, which is, you know, really important as we go forth with the launch of that product and get it out there and get customers using it. So if you haven't spoken to us recently about Global Fabric or services in the UK, please go and do so, and please ask about IPv6. Cool. Do we have time for the show of hands, I thought? Yeah, we do. Okay, cool. So bonus round. Ding, ding, ding. Here I am to run a quiz. No, we just wanted to do a little bit of solicited feedback on, just from the room to get some questions in. So hands up if you're not yet deploying IPv6 in the networks or applications that you're responsible for. So if you're not a network operator. So everyone else is deploying IPv6? You're already doing it. Okay, so there's sort of 1.5 hands, I think. Half a hand. What does half a hand mean? Does anyone want to opine upon that?
I wear multiple hats, one running an ISP.
you want to give him the mic, David? Yeah, there you go. And can you tell us who you are?
Terry Froy, wearing my ISP hat, Spilsby Internet Solutions, but I also work for the FCDO, running a communications platform for the government. Unfortunately, the FCDO platform is v4 only, and I'm having discussions, stroke arguments, stroke strong debates with people inside the organisation about a potential new redesign, and basically saying, you know, it should be v6 from the get-go, and getting a little bit of pushback. But I'm just, you know, if I get fired, I get fired. But I just think it needs to get pushed at this stage, because the platform is the redesign is probably going to last at least another 10, 15 years, and you know, I'm concerned about skill set for v4. It will drop off once v6 becomes truly mainstream.
That's an interesting point on the end there. You said you're concerned about the skill set for v4 will drop off.
Yes.
Oh, that would be a nice problem to have.
Well, I look on it as, you know, most people in a career, you know, for maybe 40 years or so, and people tend to use what they're more familiar with. So the people that are in the middle of their careers, you know, they're coming close to retirement, they just don't bother. You know, I've had this argument working in academia. It's a case, well, we've done it for for so long that, you know, why do we need to change? And you know, it's only when change is forced upon them by third parties where, you know, there's no more IPv4. Unfortunately, in academia, there's no shortage of IPv4. But when you get into like other like commercial ISPs, you know, with the v4 run out with RIPE and so on and so forth, you have you get more, you know, it affects people less there. But when you've got more folks using v6 than v4, and CGNAT starts to take a very noticeable impact on things like latency and throughput, you can sort of make the argument to push it towards those people. Government, unfortunately, is a very different beast.
I was going to say, I think I like your idea of the future and the fact that that's could potentially be starting to happen, right? It's certainly not my experience, I haven't seen this. I see far too many situations where folks have learned networking from the cloud, and that is a lot of NAT. And you know, I saw Graham nodding throughout, very ferociously nodding throughout what you were saying, which is largely down to the fact because he's teaching IPv6 at the University of Southampton. So perhaps we're ending up with a kind of dichotomy there of those that understand v6 and those that understand NAT on NAT on NAT. But
so I teach it. Well, we've got, you know, some interns with us at the moment from University of West of Scotland, and I'm trying to emphasise to them, because they've touched on v6 during their education, but they've not covered it in any like major, you know, any major way. So spending time with them and just going over, you know, this is how you've learned it in v4, this is how you would do it in v6. You'll never have to do it here because we've not rolled any v6 here. But it's preparing people who are at the very start of their careers for the stuff, because these people are going to be in networking for 40, potentially 50 years. And I would hope that v4 will have gone, you know, within the next 30 years. So isn't it better to learn it now than it is later?
you're right. And I would absolutely adore it if everyone felt and thought in the same way that you have in that instance where you have gone, I need to prepare you. I know you won't need this right now, but I'm going to tell you and I'm going to teach you. Passing on that wisdom is one of the most important things we can all do.
You know, I look upon, you know, the whole purpose of this organisation to make it so that the next generation never has to deal with IPv4.
Can we just grab the mic to the lecturer in the room? And then I will move on to the second question, I promise.
Yeah, thank you for letting me jump in there. I was just going to say, so I'm a lecturer at Southampton and we teach networking as IPv6 first. So all the students who come through first year, second year, third years, they all have practical IPv6 experience. However, that's not common across the sector. And the big thing I'm seeing in academia is a lot of the universities are saying, well, we teach networking the way we have done because that's what industry want. So if you guys in industry want people with IPv6 skills, what you need to be doing is when universities are coming to you, if they come to you saying, what skills do you need our computer scientists to have, make sure you tell them IPv6, because the universities aren't going to teach it unless there's a demand in industry for it. And when there's a demand in industry and people are talking about it, we teach it. I mean, I can try from the inside and try and get other people doing it, but there needs to be this external push as well. But you're right, a lot of people are coming into careers now having maybe one slide on IPv6 and that's it.
So I know we got hands up, but I want to move on to the second question because I'm running out of time here. So I'm getting a watch tap at me. So last hands up if you're considering deploying or have deployed IPv6 mostly in a LAN environment. Oh, that's brilliant. So IPv6 mostly, specifically DHCP option 108 to turn off IPv4 if a client supports it. Is that what we all understood? You're all doing that? That's... Or consider... okay. I did say that, I'm sorry. I did say that. But that's really, really helpful. That was a lot of hands that went up there. So that's really wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate your time, and we'll go from there. Thanks.